Hi, I'm Ron Bateman, the Sheriff of Anne Arundel County. Welcome to your Anne Arundel's Most Wanted program, a program where we showcase wanted criminals, highlight open cases, and look to you for tips. You, concerned citizens, that share my same goal, and that's keeping our communities safe. You'd be proud to know that your calls have allowed us to put handcuffs on thousands of criminals. So sit back, set your DVR, or grab a pen and paper, and help do your part in catching criminals. You're watching Anne Arundel's Most Wanted. And of course, everyone recognizes our next guest is Corporal Amy Meagan from the Annapolis Police Department. Welcome back to the show, Amy.
Thank you, Sheriff.
Who did you bring for us?
I've got three today. The first one is Dustin Brooks Cantrell. His date of birth is December 31st, 1981. He's a white male who is 6 foot 1 inch tall, weighing 160 pounds, with brown hair. He has a tattoo on his left wrist, and his last known address was 138 Willow Lane in Walhalla, South Carolina. He has one open warrant for failing to appear in court for possession of equipment to administer illegal drugs. And this charge stems from an incident on October 21st, 2010. At 12:30 a.m., officers responded to West Street for a report of two men entering vehicles at a closed business. The officer located the two males on the business lot and questioned them. The officer obtained consent to search the men and found two hypodermic needles and a metal spoon and a plastic straw with residue in Cantrell's coat pocket. All these items can be used to administer illegal drugs. Cantrell was arrested and failed to come to court for this charge. And the second subject is Reginald Damore King, Jr. His date of birth is March 29th, 1991. He's a black male, 5 foot 9 inches tall, weighing 150 pounds, with black hair and brown eyes. He has tattoos on his left shoulder and right arm, and his last known address is 77 Pleasant Street in Annapolis. He has one open warrant for first and second degree assault, reckless endangerment, false imprisonment, and handgun on person. This warrant stems from an incident in August of 2014 when Annapolis police officers responded to a home for a report of a domestic assault. The female victim reported that she was assaulted over a period of hours by her ex-boyfriend Reginald King. She was upset, crying, and told police that King was going to kill her. She said she and King had an ongoing disagreement and that she had been in fear for her life for some time. On the day of the report, King began arguing with the woman, and when he pushed her down, she saw a handgun in his waistband. King then started strangling her, telling her he was going to kill her. King kept her in the home and would not let her out, and later kicked her, strangled her again, punched her, and pointed the gun at her. The woman was able to escape after King was distracted by his cell phone. King was able to flee the area before the woman contacted police. And the third subject we have is Ernest Paul Singleton. His date of birth is February 28th, 1968. He's a black male, 5 foot 9 inches tall, weighing 200 pounds, with black hair and brown eyes. His last known address is 907 Royal Street in Annapolis, and he has an open warrant for threat of arson. On February 21st, 2013, at approximately 3:18 p.m., an officer responded to Child Enforcement Unit office located at 44 Calvert Street for a male caller threatening to blow up the building. The officer spoke with the employee that took that call. The employee reported the caller was upset about the information she was giving him. The man started using profanity toward the employee and said he was going to blow the building up. The employee gave the officer the subject's name, Ernest Singleton, and the officer obtained these charges on Singleton. And I also have one from Anne Arundel County Police. His name is Ian Nigel Page. His date of birth is April 29th, 1972, and his last known address is in the 900 block of Woodward Lane in Crownsville. On January 19th of this year, officers responded to the 900 block of Woodward Lane in Crownsville for an assault. On arrival, officers spoke to the adult female victim, who had a large bump on her head, bruises on her sides, cuts on her arms, and scratches on her back. The victim claimed she was assaulted by Page, and officers were having a hard time getting responses from the victim because she was extremely drowsy and unable to stand due to the assault. The victim stated that Mr. Page pushed her on the ground, causing her to have the bump on her forehead. She went on to say that he struck her with a wooden handle portion of a hammer on her sides, causing her to have the bruises on her left and right side. During the assault, Page drug her around the house by pulling her hair, causing her to have the scratches on her back, and he pushed her down the stairs of the residence. After the initial assault, the victim stated that Page picked up a kitchen knife, and while Page was holding the knife, he told the victim, "If you move, I will cut you twice, and the first one will be in your neck." Page's mother was on scene and advised that she witnessed the victim being assaulted by Page. At this point in time, his whereabouts are unknown. Anyone with information is asked to come forward. He has an active warrant for first and second degree assault.
Great. Folks, you know the whereabouts of any of these individuals. You know the drill. Do not approach them. Instead, call that number on the screen, 410-222-1490 or 911, 24 hours a day. Keep those calls coming in because they are definitely paying off. Amy, thank you very much.
Thank you, Sheriff.
Now, you may recognize this next guest. This is Sergeant Melissa Hout from the Maryland State Police, Glen Burnie Barrack. But when she was last on here, she was corporal. She got promoted on January of this year to the rank of sergeant, which is a great promotion. So congratulations to you for that.
Thank you, Sheriff. I appreciate that.
So who'd you bring for us?
Well, I've got two for you today. Our first warrant is Amanda Dawn White. On November 26, 2015, TFC Gaines, who's out of the Maryland State Police Glen Burnie Barrack, conducted a traffic stop on a vehicle traveling at a high rate of speed on southbound 97 at Welham Avenue. During the course of the traffic stop, TFC Gaines noticed the female passenger acting suspicious and attempting to conceal something from the trooper. Further investigation revealed the passenger, Amanda Dawn White, was in possession of a controlled dangerous substance and paraphernalia to include heroin and cocaine. Both the driver and passenger of that vehicle were arrested and charged with those crimes. Amanda Dawn White is currently wanted for failing to obey the conditions of her probation directly related to that arrest. She is an African-American female, 5 foot 2 inches tall, brown eyes, black hair, born on October 8, 1988. She has an address in Brooklyn, Anne Arundel County. Our second suspect is James Edward Davis, Sr. On April 19, 2015, Trooper Adams from the Maryland State Police Annapolis Barrack came upon a pedestrian walking on the road on westbound Route 50 in the area of Ritchie Highway. Trooper Adams attempted to identify the person who did not have any identification printed on his person. During a routine check, James Edward Davis was found to have an open warrant. Upon learning this information, Davis ran from the trooper into the woods along the highway. Trooper Adams later located Davis and, in addition to serving that warrant, charged him with attempting to elude a uniformed police officer by fleeing on foot. Davis failed to appear in court for that warrant on January 13th and currently has an active bench warrant. Davis is a white male, 5 foot 6 inches tall, 140 pounds, with a date of birth of June 2nd, 1976. He has an address on Quarterfield Road in Glen Burnie.
Great. Folks, you know the whereabouts of any of those individuals. You know the drill. I know I sound like a broken record every single month, but do not approach them. Instead, call that number on the screen, 410-222-1490 or 911, 24 hours a day.
Thank
Congratulations
you, Sheriff.
again on your
I
promotion,
appreciate
Sergeant.
that. Thank you very much.
Before I go into those subjects wanted by the Anne Arundel County Sheriff's Office, I got to tell you a funny story that has just happened in the last couple days. So I'm going to add this as our first dumb criminal file story for 2016. So this fella by the name of Sean Kovalik posted on Facebook the other night that he's crashing a party at Michael's 8th Avenue in Glen Burnie, and that he was at this fundraiser, that it must have been some kind of politician, he writes, because they had free alcohol and free food, and they were auctioning off items, and he hoped no one asked who he was or why he was there. So he was bragging about this. The word got to me, and I checked it out on Facebook, and guess what? It was my fundraiser that he crashed. Bad move, Sean. So I got on Facebook and I wrote to Sean that this is Sheriff Ron Bateman and it was my fundraiser that you stole from. Come to find out, Mr. Sean Kovalik had an outstanding warrant out on him. So we took care of that today. Mr. Sean Kovalik met me and we placed handcuffs on him. So anyway, be careful what you do there, Sean. Things like that will catch up to you. So now, those subjects wanted by the Anne Arundel County Sheriff's Office. Our first subject is Jenny Michelle Bowers. Bowers has 7 open warrants, so let's pick apart the details. On September the 18th of 2015, a violation of probation bench warrant was issued for her failure to complete community service. On November 20th of 2015, she failed to appear for court on her prior theft under 1,000 case. A new bench warrant was issued for that. On November the 30th of 2015, she failed to appear for court on her prior theft under 1,000 case, and another bench warrant was issued. On December the 1st, 2015, she failed to appear for her CDS case, and a bench warrant was issued. On December the 15th of 2015, she failed to appear for her theft case, and a separate CDS case. 2 new bench warrants were issued. And on December the 21st, 2015, another theft case failed to appear and bench warrant, making a grand total of 7 outstanding warrants. Not good. Today we are looking for Jenny Michelle Bowers, who's a 23-year-old white female with a date of birth of August the 5th, 1992. She's 5 foot 4 inches tall and weighs 120 pounds and has blonde hair and brown eyes. Her last known address is 604 Burley Road in Annapolis. Now our next subject, it's going to be James Edward Falk. Falk has 4 open warrants. On November 30th of 2015, he failed to appear for his driving while impaired case and his separate CDS case. 2 bench warrants were issued. On December the 4th, 2015, he failed to appear for another CDS case and a bench warrant was issued. And on December the 18th, 2015, he failed to appear for his burglary and trespassing case, and the 4th warrant was issued. So today we are looking for James Edward Falk, 53-year-old white male. The date of birth of December the 18th, 1962. He's 5 foot 11 inches tall, weighs 185 pounds, and has white hair and blue eyes. He's of 1801 Haverty Grace Drive in Edgewater. And our last subject, that is going to be Daniel Herbert Hall. Hall has an open warrant for assault, handgun on a person, illegal possession of a registered firearm and ammo, malicious destruction of property, and reckless endangerment. So on November the 13th of 2015, the county police responded to Clearwater Court in Severn for a domestic call. On arrival, they spoke with the victim, who advised she and her boyfriend, Daniel Herbert Hall, had been in a verbal argument that escalated to violence. Hall strangled the victim until a friend was able to pull her away. The victim grabbed a knife in self-defense, and Hall went and got a black-colored handgun from the closet. Hall cocked the handgun, pointed it at the victim while standing over top of her, and said, quote, "You scared now? Look at you," end of quote. The back and forth continued for a bit until Hall fled the scene in a gray-colored Honda Accord with California tags. It is worth noting that Hall is prohibited from carrying a firearm stemming from charges in California and is a fugitive from justice out of Dallas, Texas. So today we are looking for Daniel Hubert Hall, who is a 26-year-old black male with a date of birth, February 26, 1989. He's 5 foot 9 inches tall, weighs 140 pounds, and has black hair and brown eyes. And his last known address is 8234 Clearwater Court in Severn. So folks, you know the whereabouts of any of those individuals. Do not approach them. Call that number on the screen, 410-222-1490 and 911 24 hours a day. And I must emphasize, keep your calls coming in. Your tips are definitely paying off. We're locking up a lot of people because of your tips. So I want to thank a few people that allow this show to happen every single day. First, the man behind that screen, Mr. Dale Boyer. From my office, who produces the show, Lieutenant Jennifer Gilbert Duran. Our county executive, Steve Shue, who allows the show to happen. And the chiefs of police from Anne Arundel County, that'll be Tim Altamari, Mike Pristu from Annapolis City, and the Maryland State Police Superintendent is my buddy, Colonel Bill Palazzi. Remember, folks, I'm Sheriff Ron Bateman. Let's keep Anne Arundel County safe. We'll see you next time on Anne Arundel's Most Wanted.